Philip, you brought up some other topics, not just data analytics, but a few other things that you think are kind of critical for these businesses to be successful and work long term.
Yeah, besides brand building, I think another thing we discussed was data, which I know is really important to a lot of you. I know the ATX is big in getting data out of Amazon, and that's something that is worthwhile to be able to be gathering that data and be able to use it to help make these decisions. So, for example, in just a few that we've mentioned here, like ad spend, and what are my fees, my shipping costs, can I save on those? All these are soon fast becoming more of a data question. And so the more data that retailers can begin to collect, to understand, and kind of become more of a data centric company, the more it's going to help them make better decisions in the future moving forward. So definitely something that's worthwhile getting the dashboards together, start stepping into that if they're not yet, and walk that path. There is and I'll hand it back on.
I had a quick thought, Philip, which is one thing that we've seen at A2X is the demand from the direct sellers, the merchant sellers to A2X has increased since last year. And it's evolved a little bit. And it actually is about that question, like the inquiries are a little more about specifically analytics, and can I get an accountant or bookkeeper, an expert who can help me, as opposed to, as I was saying, kind of, previously it'd been more like I just need the data to get my tax return done. It was more compliance focused. So we're seeing that, and we've launched an enhanced directory where we have firms like Acuity are in there, and the merchants come in, and we're seeing many more of them asking for help from an expert. So your services are going to be needed more and more as things get more challenging.
That's great. I got one thing to add to that too. When I had my e-commerce company, on the data thing, we noticed that we ran, I don't even remember, but data was siloed in a variety of different systems, right? And so it's really hard to understand exactly what's going on when you've got customer relationships here, inventory data there, financial data here, some other stuff here, some other stuff there. So as e-commerce companies become larger and more complex and more sophisticated, it becomes really important to get all that data into one place so you can start to marry it together and to understand what's happening. And so you can make decisions, to Philip's point, based on data, right? Because it gets to a point where these owners, like, you can't have your finger on the pulse of what's going on. Like, it's just too complex. Like, you need to use the data to understand what's happening and to catch things early, right? Like, you don't want to be a month later getting your books done and you're like, oh my gosh, like, we lost a ton of money, right? You probably want to be 7 days in looking at that on a weekly basis, or however frequently you can do it, to kind of say, oh wow, like, we're not trending in the right direction this month. Let's make some changes so that we can still hit our objective. So that, to Philip's point, the data becomes really important, and having those dashboards as an owner or a manager becomes critical. And, I think that more people are going that direction now, but, I know many e-commerce sellers that they'd wait to the 10th of the following month to be like, yeah, I don't know how we did, right? Which was crazy to me. So